Hello everyone, this is the Backstreet Nets again with a new tutorial, and this time we are going to model, texture, rig, and animate a robot. Very interesting, huh? Okay, so I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to add a cylinder. Yeah, where I got the settings set for it. Why the settings are already set for it, no idea. Okay, because they usually aren't. Anyway. Oh, right. So, first thing I want to do is undo that too. No, actually I want that. Click on that. Okay, so this will be the second last tutorial. Well, no, it's going to be the third last tutorial in the what's it called? In the basics series. I might do some other ones later, but for the moment, it'll be the last tutorial in the basics series. Then I'm going to go on to intermediate tutorials. I will always be adding stuff to that. Advanced will come a lot later. I will be making tutorials, don't worry. Don't worry about all that. Don't worry. Be happy. Anyway. Okay. So. Yeah. Okay. That'll do. Now, I'm going to select yeah, I'll select those. One sec. Never mind. Okay. Just those two faces. And I'm going to extrude them downwards. God. In fact, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to add another cylinder. Scale that way down. Rotate it like that. Going to just select that face. And while holding that control, just click where I want to. Now, going to select all of that and all of that. Scale it down. Actually, I'm going to press Alt S. That scales it down on the normals. There we go. Now, that should do. Now, I'm going to select that and copy it. Duplicate it by pressing Shift D and move it down. Scale it. Okay, actually, first I'd like to select that and press Shift S, cursor to selected, and now I'm going to press period or full stop. Select the just select that by pressing L, or by selecting one part of it and pressing Control L. And now I can scale it down the way I want. And I'm going to scale it down that much. Scale it Shift X, so only on the Z and Y axis. Is that? Oh, wait 1 sec. Yeah, that should do the trick. Okay. Turn that back on again. And I'm also going to select that. Shift D. Bring it down here. Scale it in a bit. Till it's like that. Now, let's select the bottom of it and extrude it downwards. It's about here. Press Ctrl R. 2 loops there. Actually, no. You can press Ctrl R and add 4 loops there. Yeah. Select the 2 middle loops and scale them out. Pressing Shift Z. So they don't scale down on the Z axis, but on all the other axes. That's about what you got. Now, I'm also going to select those, and I'm going to scale them on the Z axis. So bring them back up a bit. Now, I'm going to select that SZ0, making it flat. Okay. So, now, going to add a new cylinder, scale it down again, bring it down here, over to the side, okay. I like making it exact. Now, got a summer's cold. Skillet, Shift Z, and bring that down a bit more. Okay. Well, I guess you can already tell this is not going to be a robot with human proportions. Okay. There you go. Okay. Whoa, that wasn't supposed to happen. Okay. So, I'm going to go to vertex mode and select that. Move it upwards like that. Now, go to 2 loops. Select that SZ0. Same thing with the bottom one. Okay. There we go. Now, so going to select that and scale it out. Not on any particular axis. Okay. Now, one thing I really do hate about B-Mesh is that, if you notice, it's all just one face. I think in 2.64 they've introduced a new way of doing it, but I didn't have a look. Let me draw it quickly. I've added a cylinder. Yeah, it does. So now you can see it's a triangle fan, which is very, very useful. I was going to recommend it, but I don't think they had it in the last version. Anyway, so should have set this one to triangle fan too. Too late now. Anyway. Okay, so ES, scale it in a bit, and then extrude it downwards on the Z-axis. There we go. Okay. Going to select the whole thing there and scale it. There we go. And move it down a bit like that. Okay. Nice. Gonna scale those in a bit. Shift Z. Now, once that's done, we'll do the same thing with the arms. Going to make the arms a bit different. For God's sake. There we go. Now I'm going to go to side view again. I'm going to do the same way I did this. Good for control. In fact, yeah. And then I'm going to select those three. Okay. I'm going to press Alt S again. It's 3 loops. And I'm going to scale it in. Same way I did before. Just tweaking it a bit. Okay. Now, one thing I don't like is where that loop is. There we go. Now, I'm going to give this guy some pinchers or whatever they're called. And they're very, very simple to make. Just create a cylinder. This one does not need to be set to triangulate fan. And I'm going to set that to 6 so it looks like a bolt. And I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees again. Move it over here, scale it down loads. And move it over here. Like that. Press Ctrl E and go to edge slide. Just move it in a bit more. and then select that, no, extrude it in. In fact, for God's sake, yeah. There we go. Okay, now no matter which way. Now, select that, press X, and edge loop. There we go. Now, so that's done. I'm going to select the whole, select that, scale it in on the X axis, and I'm going to create a cube, move it over here, scale it down loads. Okay. Perfect. Now, I'm going to go to, what am I going to do now? Oh yeah, set this to normal. That really doesn't help. Okay. Select that, duplicate it, I just scaled it -1 times, making it same model only there, like that. I'm also going to zoom in, select that, delete edge loop, and same thing there. Okay. All we really need to do now is the feet. But one thing I want to do quickly, which, well, is a good idea. Is extrude that out and scale it. There we go. Okay, that looks nice. Now, the final thing I'm going to do is add a cube. Again, just move it down here, scale it down, get it to the right size and shape. For God's sake, keep on pressing H instead of G. Oh God, I'm probably boring you to death again. Sorry if I don't talk a lot. It's very hard to talk while you're doing things like this. You don't realize it until you make your own tutorial. You think, oh God, they're doing terribly at making a tutorial. Then you make your own tutorial and realize they're doing well. Or maybe not well, but they're, you know. They're not doing that bad. Maybe they are doing very, very bad, but they can't help it. Anyway, you can make this character look as stylish as you want, but that's what I'm going to do. I just want to give him an eye. He's going to be very cartoony since his legs are way smaller than his arms. But, so what? I'm going to give him a big round eye. I'll make a cone. Okay. Rotate it 90 degrees. Move it up like that. And I'm going to subdivide it. Subdivide smooth. Actually, never mind. That's not what I'm going to be using. I'm using a cylinder. Okay. Now, I'm going to add a loop cut. Select all of that and scale, in fact, Alt M. No, just scale it in. And grab the middle vert and move it out. On the y-axis. Okay. Now, extrude that out on and scale it, not on the z-axis, and extrude it inwards, be like that. And that's it. Okay, so now I'm going to select this half of the model. Make sure you select all of that half and delete vertices. Going to add a mirror modifier. So now I'm going to add subsurf modifier. That's what it's going to look like. Very, very cartoony. Okay. Now, first thing I'd like to do, turn that off, is, oh god, is add a loop here. Don't bring it in fully, but bring it in close enough. Select that middle vertex and delete it. I'm going to hide this observed modifier. Clean. E S Make sure you set the to clipping. The yeah. Okay. Now E okay. So there we go. That's all I'm going to do for that. Now, the body. better. Okay, so now I'm going to turn this back on. Okay. If you press this, then the editing becomes some subsurfed as well. So that's cool. I'm going to add a loop here. Yeah. Okay. Now select that and move it back. Okay. Don't like that editing. Okay, yeah, I think that's good. So now we are going to give it some materials. So, of course, as always, I'm going to use the cycles render because it's better for rendering. And I'm going to give it some materials. I will be texturing it, don't worry. You will learn how to texture. You will learn how to put images onto these things. I'll probably use it for the eye and for some little parts that I'll make a different texture and make its own texture. Okay, so yeah, so now we need to separate each part. So I am going to press L, Shift, H, just to select that part, and turn that on, and select that. Yeah. Okay. And then now select all the parts that you want to be red, or whatever color. I'm going to make it red. Okay. Select all of that and P to separate selection. Now, so select both models. That I want both of those to be red, so press Ctrl J to join them together. Now, select all of that and get rid of the material. Going to make it a mix shader. Why not make it diffuse? Give it a nice dark red color. Okay. And make it glossy. Roughness, turn it way up. Maybe not that much. 800. Okay. And now yeah. So the part I want to texture, might texture the front. No, I think I'll texture the eye, just the eye. So press L just like that, and press P, separate selection. In the Blender render, you can give each part its own material. You can't here, which is really annoying. You don't have to separate it in the Blender render, but you do in the Cycles render. Actually, I'm also going to separate the hand, so I'm going to texture that too, and I think that's it. Okay. Select all that. That's its own thing now. I'm going to join that together and going to make that just glossy. Roughness, turn up quite a bit. Yeah, make the color a bit darker. Okay. Now, oh, I didn't join the right model. No, I did. That's not right. Huh. Yeah, that was more like it. Okay, I'm just going to undo that. Yeah. So, now, I'm going to go into, what's it called? into edge mode, which turn off that, select the inner edge there, and I'm going to press Ctrl E, go to mark seam. Okay. And I think I'll bring it out to here next. And Control E, mark seam again. Now, for this one, it'll be a bit different because we're also going to. No, sorry. You just select that and press Control E, mark seam as well. Why that part, I don't know. And for the final part, yeah, we can leave it like that. Okay, now, over here. So, this is a very easy way of doing this. Oh yeah. Yeah. You don't know you're selecting them. I don't know because I brought them the whole way out. That's what's really annoying. However, I'll solve that problem later. And I'm also going to. In fact, I'll solve that problem now. Always select vertices that you don't see very well, if you can. In my case, up at the head I couldn't. Here I can. Now, I'm also select all four of those and press mark seam. Yeah. Okay. Do the same thing on this side. There are different ways of doing it, but I like this way. And of pulling it out. See, the thing is, you have to imagine, if you remember in primary school or whatever, elementary, wherever you are, I don't know. But for me, it was primary. And remember nets for 3D shapes. Nets were the way you could set them out as flat 2D shapes, and you could see everything. For example, a cube, if I just show you, would have been set out so that it was like this. And in the end, it looked like when you flattened it out, you mark seam there. The seams were where it fell apart, were where it split, and in the end it looked like a cross when you folded it out. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. If I go to UV editing, select that. Yeah, it looked like that. You remember that from primary school or whatever. Anyway, I'm going to select the whole thing there. And so I'm ended up with this, which is quite good actually. You don't want anything overlapping, ever. Especially if you're working in the game industry, it's terrible. Because if you have overlapping UVs as they're called, these are called UV, well then you will have big problems with lighting, because the light, it creates a light map. However, if there's overlapping UVs, then you'll see the same light on a different part of the model, one part of the model as the other part, when the lighting is clearly different. Oh yeah. What I'm going to do is select that, and I'm going to go to back to default and just apply that. Select the whole thing. No, actually, just select the light and unwrap it again. Oh yeah. Yeah, it should work. There we go. Now it should work. Well, that made a whole lot of difference, didn't it? Don't do the Smart UV project. That's not what I want either. Okay, never mind that. This is very useful if you're doing projection painting, projection from view, and projection from view bounds. Usually you'd use projection from view, but anyway. But that's not what I want. What's that? See, these are problems that you're going to face a lot. we go, now there's an improvement. There's still a problem though. You know what I'll do? Oh, oh, no. There we go, finally. Now. Yeah. See, one thing about the only reason I did that one, unwrapped this and not those, is because then they'd have the same UVs, which is useful if you're doing a game. It's not recommended, but I want them to have the same texture. Instead of copying the texture twice, then I could just do that, make them have the same UVs, because it's not a light map image. It doesn't make a light map image for it. Doesn't need a light map image. There we go. Make sure nothing's touching each other, otherwise you'll have problems. Now, one thing I forgot to do, which I'll do now, is save it. Always save it. There's so many times when Blender crashes, and it's so annoying. So please do save it a lot. Now, yeah, I'll save it in Blender files. I'm going to call it... What should I call this? Robot? Do I have robots? First thing I'm going to do is put in tutorials. Okay. Okay, so now, sorry about that. I was miles away there for 2 seconds. I should talk a bit more often, shouldn't I? Okay. What time is it? Okay, I've got a bit more time. Now, yeah, everything seems ready. Okay, I'm still in the blender ready. Blender render. Blender render. Rhymes. Now, I'm going to show you a little trick, which is very useful at times. But one thing I want to do is select that. Move those up there like that. Okay, and there we go. Now, I'm going to go to World Properties, Ambient Occlusion, Approximate, and turn on the pixel catch, set it to 1, and go down to Bake. Now the margin is a little bit, I'll show you. Yeah, the margin is a tiny little bit around the UVs that's created, just to help you. I like to have them there, and I like to make them big enough. So I'm going to set it to 10. 10. Now, go to Ambient Occlusion, and I like to see it being baked. I'll show you what it does. Now, 3, 2, 1. Oh yeah, create an image first. If you're making a game, you definitely don't want it to be 1024 by 1024. But this is not a game, so you can. And you can take days to render as much as you want, so. However, games have to render that within within one frame. So all the time, so fast that you can't even see it. So they need to be a lot more powerful, and therefore cannot have such a big sized image. Anyway, bake. You can see it coming together already. All those little pieces mean it's got a subsurface modifier, because everything is made up of triangles. Almost done. There we go. Okay. Now, if we go to texture quickly. Where's the light? You can see the nice texture that's been given. Those 3 little pieces there, there, and there. Yeah. There, there, and there. Okay, anyway. Now, I am going to go to UV editing. Get the untitled. And now I am going to save image. I'll save it here, and I'll make it I'll call it robot as well, and I'll make it RGB. Yeah, I'll make it RGBA. RGB means red, green, blue. RGBA means red, green, blue, alpha. You got all of these ways and things you can save it as. I'm gonna save it as a Targa. Targa is good for games. I could save it as a JPEG because it's fast, and I don't really care about the quality. You want to save it as a Targa or as a PNG for good quality, but anyway, I'll save it as a Targa. TGA. Okay, so now first move those back there. Move those back where they belong to, and move those back where they belong. Okay. Save that and close Blender. Yeah. Now I'm going to open GIMP. GIMP is a free open source program, a bit like Photoshop. the best out there next to Photoshop. Prefer to Corel. Never really found Corel very good. I used Photoshop for a bit, but I prefer this because it's a lot faster to learn and easy to use. It's got a displacement filter, which what's it called? Photoshop doesn't have. Just allows you to create people disintegrating and stuff. It's really cool. Anyway, for this part, I won't need to show you that. So I'm going to open. This. And there we go. Now, I'm going to add a new layer. I'm going to set the layer to multiply. Now, yeah, this here is the eye. So for the eye, I'm going to get a texture. First thing I want to do is just get this. Select the place around the eye. Just need to be exact. And select that. I want to make the pattern something nice. Like that one there. Okay. And just fill it in. So there we go. As you can see, it looks like that. Amazing, isn't it? Now, select none. I'm going to go to layer again. Okay, now I'm going to get a nice dark red color. And I'm going to get the brush. Here. And just go over it like that. I want to make that a bit lighter actually. Okay. Now, actually I don't want that part to be that color. I want this to be that color. As you notice, the thing about multiply is that first, and also if I cover that, it still keeps the shading part of it. So it's very good. What's that? Oh yeah. That I want to make red as well. Okay. Now, first thing I want to do is add another layer, and on that layer to make it that color, and I'm going to set that to multiply as well. too dark, way too dark. New layer. Yeah, okay. I'm going to set the layer to be overlay. No. Multiply. No. Divide. Doesn't make any difference. Screen. Okay. Not screen. That's weird. That's a nice one. There we go. Green merge. You make it whatever you want. Go through the options. There's enough there. Okay. Yeah. Okay, now what I want to do is merge down. Oh god. Undo that. Merge. Undo that too. Never mind. Leave it like that. Okay. Now, going to select a gray. And I'm going to color in this and this circle too. And that's it. Don't think I need to color in anything else. Okay. Yeah, one last little thing I want to do is get a really, really small brush. we go. And now, save as. Just save over robot. You shouldn't, but I will, because I don't think I'll need to change it. I won't need to change it. This is only a tutorial. You shouldn't, you save it as something else, but anyway. Robot color.tga. Okay. Now, open up Blender again. And close GIMP. No, actually I won't, because I always need to make change it to anyway. And oh good, it's already imported. Cool. So let's see how it looks then. If it's not imported, then press Alt R, or just open image, and then go to text. Okay. Usually I do a lot nicer looking pieces of art, but for this tutorial again, I'm just showing you. Now, I'm going to actually I'm going to select these faces here. So where is it? Here it is. So I'm just gonna select this fan of faces here, if it'll let me. And I'm going to separate those. The reason I'm going to separate those is if we go back into Blender Render, I'm going to set everything up here. But if you noticed, I've just changed the picture a little bit while I was paused. But okay, now. So I'm going to go back to default, and I'm going to press tab. Actually, I'm going to press Control N in edit mode. That recalculates the normals. Apparently there's a problem. Don't know what that problem was, but anyway. Okay, so I'm going to go into materials. Yeah, just make sure I'm selecting that one. And I'm going to get rid of that, add a new one. Yeah, diffuse, okay. And on color, I'm going to add an image texture. And I'm going to select untitled. There you go. And you can see the difference. Same thing here, only this time going to make it a mix shader. One of them will be diffuse and one of them will be emission, because the eye will light up. And I'm going to make it right. Going to make it going to make it red. Okay. In fact, no, I'm going to make it white. Okay. Select the color, image texture again, and untitled. Okay, so now I'm going to go to that. Where is it? It's not film, it's post. No, it's not. Could never find this bloody integrator. It's not integrator, it's output, isn't it? It's one of these things. Sampling, isn't it? Yeah. So, render I'm going to put up to 500. Okay, so when it's render, I'll show it to you. So, thank you. Okay. Here it is, the final image. So I changed a few things, such as the glossy color I changed to red as well on this, because otherwise it was turning out pink. Not a very nice color. If you zoom in here, I've added some. You saw me add those details, but I added some extra details, and I also added this background. Now the way I did that is the same way I added the texture for that. Like if you want to add the texture, you went to color and clicked on that icon there, and went to image texture and opened up your image, and you opened up your texture. But in this case, what I did is I went to world, and I clicked on the color and opened up an environment texture. Yeah, and I opened up one I could find. It's a bit didn't turn out exactly the way I thought it was gonna happen. It's very pixelated, but you know, it's better than nothing, and it's there. So yeah. What else did I do? Oh yes, I also on this part I made the emission the same texture as the diffuse, just to give it that bit extra again. And so yeah, there we go. I think that's it. I also went in and darkens and lighten things there. Okay. Yeah. So there it is. That is the end of part 1. In part 2 we'll be rigging and animating the character. Afterwards, I'll see what I'm going to do. Thank you for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Goodbye.